Have you ever wanted to know how to create another reality? Want to create a different experience for everyone around you, including yourself? Watch the full video to find out the 3 ways I make different realities to enhance my experience and everyone else's. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to go through the 3 ways you can create different realities just like in WandaVision. As you may know, I am a huge fan of Marvel and magic, and after watching WandaVision it got my mind racing on what magicians already do and how we can put that into perspective in a magic level. Okay, the day I'm filming this episode is the day before the finale of WandaVision, so please do not spoil it. Not that you can spoil it for me, you know, for a screen. And to be fair, this video is probably going to come out after the finale, so don't worry about it. The first one being virtually a self-working trick. The second one being a little bit difficult, but if you pull it off, you get some amazing results. And the last is something that took me and a lot of other people years to practice, and I'm still not 100% comfortable with doing it just yet. But without further ado, let's get on with the first trick. So the first trick, like I said at the beginning, is basically a self-working trick. It has nothing to do with cards, it has nothing to do with I don't know, magical props. All you need is a calculator that you can use on your phone, or even better if you use somebody else's phone. And the method is something that a lot of magicians use, even before calculators were created, even before phones were created. It's a simple algorithm that you use in maths that gets you to a certain number. I know about last year I made a video called The Life Equation, and it's kind of on the same lines as that, but this one can work all the time. And like I said, if you are a magician, you probably know this trick already. This is the easiest self-working trick in this video. And the idea and the trick is the 1089 false. And like I said, the 1089 false, if you Google the 1089 false on Google, it'll come up with exactly how to do it, but I'm going to go into detail on how you can make it a different reality to fit this video. So the 108 false is just an equation of numbers that you can get your participant to choose any 3 numbers to add and subtract, of course using the equivoque, to get to the 1089 number, and it will always go to the 108 number, 1089 number. In fact, try it right now. Get out your phone, get out your calculator, whatever you need to add this up, or if you're really smart, do it in your head, it's completely fine. So this is what you need to do. You need to put in any 3-digit numbers, completely fine, any 3-digit numbers, right? Then what I want you to do is I want you to think about it backwards. Whatever those numbers are, just think of it backwards. So if it was 1, 2, 3, your numbers would be 3, 2, 1, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to minus those numbers together. So I would do 3, 2, 1 minus 1, 2, 3, because obviously you don't want to go into negative numbers. Then you would click equals, and then whatever that number is, you plus them together. So whatever that number that you've got right there on your calculator, you reverse that like you did in the first one, click plus, put that, the reverse of the number in, click equals, and it should be 1089. And that essentially is the actual trick, but like I said, I'm going to go into detail on how you can make it different realities. And how I like to start this trick off is I go into saying, this is how, I want to teach you a way of how mentalists and magicians predict certain things. So what we do is something called alternative realities, where we think of all the most possible scenarios and think of the ones that are more likely to happen, and that's how we do it. And you might see it in TV shows such as WandaVision, such as other things, where certain realities in a multiverse happens. You don't need to go into that kind of detail, but that's essentially what I do. And then from there I go, and I want to try and show this to you. I want you to point to any 3-digit number on your phone. Do any 3-digit number. And then what I want you to do is I want you to pick plus or minus. Now, this is where the equivocate comes in. Obviously you want them to pick minus. So if they pick minus, go ahead with it. Yeah, cool, we do minus. If they say plus, you go, but in an alternative reality, you would pick minus. So I want you to put minus in and do the opposite of that, because in an alternative reality, you would have picked the opposite way of those numbers. They minus them together and it comes up with whatever answer it is. And then you go, lovely, okay, so in an alternative reality, these numbers again would be the other way round, correct? So if you, and we picked minus before, so in an alternative reality we picked plus this time, so we want you to plus the opposite way of those numbers. Click equals, and then the number will be 1089, and that, I'm going to leave the surprise up to you and how you reveal the 1089. I'm not going to tell you how I reveal the 1089 prediction because it's a trick that I still do in my repertoire today. It is one of my go-to tricks. If someone says, show me a quick trick right now, it's one of the things that I do straight away because it is self-working. They can pick any number, or I can pick any number. You can do it in a group. You can go, okay, you pick one number, you pick one number, you pick one number, put it all together. So essentially all you need to do is 3 numbers minus the opposite of that, then you equals it, then you plus the opposite of that equals 1089. Now let's get on to the second reality warping trick. Now this trick is a lot more difficult, but if you pull it off you can get some amazing results. And essentially the reason why you get that is because every single person has a different experience. So you can show them a trick in front of everyone, and then as soon as they go off and talk to each other, they will all have a different experience. And the reason for that is because you are making a different experience for them all. And the method that I'm talking about right now is something magicians call dual reality. And what dual reality is basically making everybody have different experiences while they're looking at whatever the magician is performing. And I'll give you a couple of examples right now of what I'm talking about. Essentially, it's all down to one person compared to everybody else. For instance, a lot of magicians, when they go on radio shows, they do a lot of dual reality work because you can only hear what they're saying while they're performing a trick to the presenter. For instance, the way they're saying stuff on the radio could be completely different to what they're doing in real life. So if they're, I don't know, planting a card somewhere else, if they're planting a card in the presenter's bag, for instance, that they did before the show, and then they get the presenter to name any playing cards, or they force that playing card onto them and then they name it. All they have to say is something like, okay, you can see in your mind that, or you can see, it's probably better to say if you can see for the radio, you can see that playing card is now floating. You can see it floating, and I'm not going anywhere near it. You can see it floating, and it is now in your bag. Go and check your bag. Now, to the presenter, they could be seeing it in their mind, or they could be going, oh yeah, I'm seeing it, and then they get the experience of that card is in their bag. But to the people on the radio, they believe that they actually see a card floating, or the presenter sees the card actually floating. So that's one idea of dual reality. Another one is what, I don't want to name names, but somebody on the Britain's Got Talent did this. Last year, I don't know, Britain's Got Talent, was America's Got Talent, I don't know, it's one of the Got Talents. I don't watch them, but yeah, it's one of the Got Talents. And a lot of other magicians do this, but I'm gonna talk about this one. And it's when you get 2 people and you touch one of them, but then the other one says that where they touched them, or when they touched them. And what you're basically doing there is, so the example I'm saying is that they have a table in front of them, and have one of the people sitting here, they have someone sitting here. They get someone to close their eyes or use a blindfold or whatever. I'm going to put this down. And you go, okay, can you feel this? And while you're pretending to touch their arm or potentially touching their arm, you're also treading on their feet, very softly, very like treading on their feet. And then they'll go, yes, I can feel it. Perfect, wonderful. And you go, okay, so I want you just to raise your arm each time you feel me do that. Now to them, they're thinking, okay, so each time he touches my foot, I need to lift up my arm. Now, with the other person, what you're supposed to do now is touch their arm, or tell them to lift up their arm without saying anything so they can't know. So, for instance, they're waiting for you to put your foot on their foot, they're waiting for them to touch your arm. So, they're blindfolded, they're not. You touch their arm while you're pressing on their foot, and then their arm will lift up, and then they'll be amazed. And then as soon as you let go of your foot, they do it. That's a different kind of dual reality, because to everyone else, they're seeing that this guy over here is feeling what he's feeling, but essentially he's feeling something completely different, and to him, he doesn't feel like any magic is happening. I'm just simply touching their foot. But to everyone else, boom. So with dual realities, it's all to do with how you talk and what you're speaking about, because you could really mess it up if you get something wrong, especially for the radio ones. And even for the foot one that I was just talking about, you could really mess it up. Alright, and now we'll go on to the last trick, which is probably the hardest trick, but here we go. Alright, you made it this far. This is the last idea, this is the last method on how to create different realities, and it is the hardest one. Like we said in the intro, this took years to do, and I've only done it a couple of times, and thankfully it hasn't went wrong, but I'm still not comfortable doing it every single time I go out and perform. There's loads of books, there's loads of videos on how to do this, and I don't feel 100% ready to be able to teach it, because I don't feel like I'm good enough or ready enough, and I haven't had enough experience on how to teach it. But I'm going to give you the option for you to, after this video, go and have a little look at the possibilities of this method. And the method that I am talking about is hypnosis. Now, like I said, I've only done a hypnosis a couple of times, and it has thankfully worked out. And I'm hoping once we're allowed back out to do more of that kind of thing, because I think the possibilities are basically endless if you get it right, if you get the subject right. It's endless. And the reason why I've added it into this video is because you are literally making a different reality to everybody else. For instance, the subject you're hypnotising is in a different world, is in a different reality. You might not even remember what's happened until you want them to. And when they remember, that is probably the best experience or the best reaction you're ever going to get in magic. And if you make them forget and then remember later on when a key word or something happens to them, that is when the dual reality happens. Because what I like to do when I have done it in the past is I like to do the full show, make them do things, make the audience absolutely laugh and have a great time, and then I make them forget it all. And then right at the end I go to them, do you believe in hypnosis, blah blah blah, and they'll probably be like, no, I don't remember, I don't believe in it. Or I go to them, did you enjoy the show? Or did you enjoy the experience? They go, what experience? I didn't see anything. And then whatever you do to get them to remember, it is the best reaction that you're ever going to get, because suddenly their world comes crashing apart, everything they remember. But before that, that's when the different realities happen, because everybody else is remembering what's happened apart from this person. So that's a different reality. Until you click your fingers, shake their hands, say the magic words for them to remember. yeah, and like I said, I'm not experienced enough to teach hypnosis on this channel, not yet anyway. Maybe in the future I'll do some quick hypnosis tricks that you can do, not going into the deep dark world of hypnosis. It's not that dark, I don't know why I'm saying that, but yeah, not going into the details of hypnosis, just some quick tricks, maybe in the future. There is some great hypnosis videos out there on how to do certain things. Spidey is probably the best person that I know to go to. He's the person that I found and learned from, basically, on how I do my hypnosis shows. And I say hypnosis shows, I've never actually done a show. I kind of put it into my magic shows that I do, not even shows, just walk around stuff. But again, I haven't really done it that much because I'm still learning it myself. They're all the 3 ways on how to make your realities in this video, and I'll pass you over to the outro. And that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I want to see you all try all these different things. If you do, and if you go from this video, please tag me in it on YouTube, please tag me on it on Instagram, or whatever you're doing it on. It's up to you. And just so you guys know, the Black Mirror Peak is coming out on the 13th of March, or in a couple of days' time. All the links will be on my website. I'll be posting about it on my socials, very much so, leading up to it. So, like I said, that is the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Adios.